talk 2024 a little bit more. Shadow campaign, right? I want to talk a little bit of shadow campaign. I've heard some pretty interesting stuff about this. I want to know what your guys' takes are. Obviously, if you're watching this, sign up in the comments below. I'm having some issues with the chat today, so sign up in the comments below. What do you think about the potential of a shadow campaign for 2020? Right, there's a few different aspects that people are discussing this from. One of them is the voting aspect, obviously. So, and I think I want to readdress this. Yep, I will readdress that in immigration, the voting concerns, right? But there are a lot of people. Obviously, there were some questions about things that happened in 2020. We raised some concerns here about some potential ballot harvesting and some of these types of things that were going on. Some of the stuff that happened in Pennsylvania, I believe, is we're talking about. There's a lot of really questionable behavior. Kerry Lake obviously has a lot of questions about things that happened in Arizona during those times. A lot of questionable stuff that happened that I think is worth discussing, right? There's still a lot of these. I have a lot of questions about voting machines. I know whatever, maybe gets us pulled off YouTube right now or whatever, but there are still documentaries like on HBO, mainstream documentaries that highlight that whether or not they are being hacked into, some of these voting machines that we're using every year for voting have backdoors. They have the ability to be tampered with. They have the ability to be altered. They can be sometimes accessed through like open networks and stuff like that. This is not good. The fact that we know about these vulnerabilities in the system and we're not doing anything, we're telling people that it's safe, is not good. And it adds a lot of question on my end about whether or not, obviously, they want it to be a secure system. Do you want this to be the safest and securest election ever? Or do you just want people to think that it is? Because I happen to, have information that HBO is delivering, and they're not usually one to push the bounds of acceptable rhetoric very often, HBO. So I tend to believe that this documentary is true. If they have two of them on here that are telling you, that are laying these things out for you, showing people able to switch votes in these machines that we're still using, why are you telling me that that's impossible? Why are you telling me that that can't happen? You're lying to me, and I'm not sure why that would be, other than you want me to believe the lie that you do so that you can use the truth to your advantage. I don't know why else someone would want to deceive me about something like that. That doesn't seem to make very much sense to me. So it's interesting. There's a lot of the stuff that we talked about with the switching the primaries and whatnot, whatever. So I'm interested to see about the voting thing. Please let me know in the chat, in the comments, what your guys' thoughts are on the generalized voting. If you trust it, if you think it's secure. We even had Elijah here, who's not a big politics guy, and he's like, I don't fucking... How do I know that it's secure? How do I know that the voting system is legit? That's a lot of people. It's a lot of papers. It's a lot of things to deal with when there's so many questions. There was a lot of really weird things that happened at the voting stations last time too, like when they were putting up the window coverings and stuff like that. Just some weird stuff, just really weird stuff that I'm sure happens all the time, and we just see more because of the technological age that we're existing in. But that doesn't make me feel better about it. It's still, we like to think that people who work in government and work in the elections and stuff are like, they're above whatever. This is like a higher caliber of person. This is, these people are super legit. They're just regular people who happen to be doing that job. That's a lot of times how things happen. People just find jobs. It's not because the election system is the most important thing in the world to them and they want to dedicate their life to ensuring its integrity. They happen to work for the voting system. That happens to be their job. If something else comes up that means more to them, they have a personal investment in fucking with their job. So I think that we just need to, as a country, be realistic about the terms in which we have discussions about the voting system. In any world, to say that like last year was the safest and securest election in history, I think is false. I think that's a lie. And It's wrong that people were pulled down from the internet for saying things like that. It's wrong that we could potentially be pulled down right now for saying it, or, that later this year there's going to be a higher level of moderation about people using this type of rhetoric. That I think that these questions are valid. I think that's really, really valid. And I believe that it should concern you that people are unwilling to answer them and they're telling you not to ask them. So, we'll find as much information as we can on that thing. I guess that's really all I wanted to say. Just that I got my eye on it. I got some concerns about the voting system.
Welcome to the south of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.